Hello and welcome. Today, we explore the profound impact of bees on our world, delving into their critical role in sustaining biodiversity, agriculture, and our very existence. Bees are often underestimated because of their small size and familiarity. However, their influence on our ecosystem is immense. Beyond producing honey, bees are central to a vast ecological network that sustains wild landscapes, farms, and the everyday foods we often take for granted. When bees flourish, so does plant life. Biodiversity remains robust, and agricultural yields are stable. Conversely, when bee populations decline, the repercussions ripple through nature, affecting supermarkets, health systems, and economies alike. In recent decades, concerns about bees have transformed from niche environmental interests into a global warning signal. Declining bee populations are not merely an insect story. They signify stress in the systems we rely on for food security and environmental equilibrium. Understanding bees is crucial to understanding how terrestrial life sustains itself and why safeguarding pollinators is a vital investment in our collective future. Let's begin by examining why bees are indispensable for food, farming, and the natural world. Pollination is the silent process that turns flowers into fruit, seeds, and new plant life. Among the most efficient pollinators on Earth, bees transfer pollen between blossoms as they collect nectar and pollen for their colonies. Many crops rely heavily on bee pollination, and when pollination rates dip, yields often decrease, produce quality diminishes, and farms become more susceptible to climate fluctuations. This chain of events influences everything from the price of fresh fruit to the availability of nutritious foods in communities. Bees also extend their influence beyond agriculture, supporting ecosystems. Numerous wild plants, which serve as food for birds, mammals, and other insects, depend on pollinators for reproduction. When these plants falter, the food web weakens. Meadows lose diversity, forests lack understory vitality, and habitats become less stable. In this manner, bees act as living infrastructure, maintaining ecological productivity, supporting genetic diversity in plants, and enhancing landscape resilience in the face of droughts, heat waves, and seasonal changes. While the economic value of pollination is significant, its ecological value is even greater. Pollination is a foundational process that sustains land ecosystems, a service not easily replaced by human means. In summary, bees are crucial for bolstering the productivity and resilience of ecosystems, providing an indispensable service to nature. Transitioning to the bee society, we find that a hive functions much like a superorganism. A bee colony is a highly coordinated society that operates as a single living system. Each bee's role changes over time, with the colony's success hinging on timing, cooperation, and constant communication. In most honeybee colonies, the queen is responsible for reproduction, laying eggs to perpetuate the colony. Worker bees, which are female, perform most of the tasks essential for the hive's operation, while drones, the male bees, focus on mating. Remarkably, bee societies manage complex tasks without a central command structure. Worker bees regulate hive temperature, construct wax combs, defend the colony, care for larvae, and forage for resources. When environmental conditions fluctuate, the colony adapts. If nectar sources shift or weather disrupts foraging, the colony reorganizes its labor to maintain stability. Bees communicate with a sophistication that continues to captivate scientists. The renowned waggle dance, for instance, allows foragers to convey information about the direction and distance to food sources. The colony effectively gathers data from the landscape and makes collective decisions, functioning as a form of distributed intelligence. This is why researchers often describe the hive as a superorganism. Individual bees are akin to cells, and the colony acts as a cohesive body. In essence, bee societies exemplify efficiency and collaboration, operating seamlessly without a central leader, showcasing the power of collective intelligence. Turning our attention to honey, it emerges as a natural product with a surprisingly complex origin. Often perceived as a mere sweetener, honey results from an intricate biological and chemical process. Foraging bees collect nectar from flowers, storing it in a specialized honey stomach. Enzymes immediately begin transforming the nectar, breaking down complex sugars and altering the mixture into a more stable form. Back at the hive, Bees pass the nectar among themselves, enriching it further with enzymes and reducing its moisture content. The partially processed liquid is then placed into wax cells, where worker bees fan their wings to evaporate excess water. Once it reaches the appropriate moisture level, the honey becomes shelf-stable and can be capped with wax. Honey's flavor, color, and aroma vary depending on the flowers visited by the bees. This botanical diversity also influences honey's chemical profile, including its antioxidant compounds and aromatic molecules. Hence, different honeys can have dramatically varied tastes and may serve diverse traditional roles in health and cooking. This complex process highlights the intricate relationship between bees and their environment, resulting in a product that reflects the flora of its origin. Next, we explore the health and medical uses of honey and other bee products. Honey has been employed in traditional medicine for millennia, and modern research has shed light on its efficacy. Honey can inhibit the growth of certain microbes primarily due to its low water content, acidity, and bioactive compounds. These properties create an environment inhospitable to many bacteria. Some honeys also contain additional antimicrobial components that enhance this effect, making honey a valued remedy for soothing irritated tissues and supporting recovery from minor ailments. One of honey's most well-established clinical applications is in wound care. Medical-grade honey dressings are used for chronic wounds, burns, and ulcers. Honey helps create a moist, healing environment while reducing bacterial burden, supporting tissue repair, and minimizing infection-related odors. It may also reduce inflammation and support the body's natural healing processes. While these uses require carefully prepared honey for medical purposes, they illustrate how bee products bridge traditional practices and modern care. In respiratory health, honey is widely used to alleviate cough and throat discomfort. Its texture coats the throat, reducing irritation and helping to calm cough reflexes, especially at night. Many people find that honey in warm drinks provides noticeable relief during colds. Although it does not replace medical evaluation for serious or persistent symptoms, it remains a popular home remedy due to its accessibility and soothing nature. In digestive health, honey has been used to support gut comfort and recovery. Its natural sugars can be gentle on the stomach for some individuals, and its bioactive compounds may help calm mild irritation. Traditional practices often pair honey with specific herbs or foods to alleviate discomfort. While honey is not a cure for gastrointestinal diseases, its use underscores how diet-based therapies often evolve around ingredients with genuine biological activity. Beyond honey, the hive produces other substances of significant interest in health and wellness. Propolis, often called bee glue, is a resinous material made from plant resins. Bees use it to seal gaps and reduce microbial threats inside the hive. In human use, propolis appears in lozenges, sprays, and topical preparations, often marketed for oral and skin health. Its composition varies by region and plant source, impacting its activity and posing challenges for standardization. Nonetheless, it has garnered attention for its anti-inflammatory and antimicrobial properties. Royal jelly, a nutrient-rich secretion used to feed developing larvae in the queen, is often linked to vitality and immune support in popular wellness culture. While claims sometimes surpass the evidence, royal jelly remains scientifically intriguing due to its dramatic influence on queen bees' development and longevity. Bee pollen, collected by bees as a protein source, contains amino acids, vitamins, and plant compounds. Some individuals use it as a dietary supplement, though sensitivity and allergies may be a concern for certain people. A cautious, realistic view of bee products is essential. While honey and hive substances are not miracle cures, they contain biologically active compounds that can support health in specific contexts. The most responsible approach is to treat them as supportive tools, not replacements for medical care, using them thoughtfully, especially for children, individuals with allergies, or those with chronic conditions. Now let's address the factors driving bee declines worldwide. Bee declines are not the result of a single cause. Rather, they stem from overlapping pressures that compound each other. Pesticide exposure is a major concern, particularly chemicals affecting insects' nervous systems. Even when exposure is not immediately lethal, it can impair navigation, learning, and foraging behavior. A bee unable to return to the hive is effectively lost, and a colony losing foragers weakens over time. Habitat loss is another significant driver. Modern landscapes often replace diverse flowering plants with monocultures, lawns, or urban development. Bees require a continuous supply of nectar and pollen throughout seasons. When the landscape offers a brief flush of blooms followed by extended periods of scarcity, colonies experience nutritional stress, weakening their immunity and making them more susceptible to disease. Climate change adds further instability to these pressures. Temperature shifts can disrupt bloom timing and reduce floral abundance. Heat waves and drought can diminish nectar flows. Extreme weather can prevent foraging and damage hives. As climate variability increases, bees face more frequent mismatches between their life cycles and food availability. Parasites and pathogens also play a significant role. Varroa mites, for instance, weaken bees and spread viruses within colonies. When a colony is already stressed by poor nutrition and chemical exposure, it becomes less capable of resisting infestations and infections. The result can be a rapid collapse that appears sudden but often reflects a long buildup of underlying strain. Addressing these challenges requires a multifaceted approach, acknowledging the interplay between various factors affecting bee populations. As the discussion around bee declines intensifies, some propose technological substitutes like robotic pollinators. The idea of tiny flying machines capable of pollinating crops is appealing on paper. However, the reality is far more intricate. Pollination involves myriad interactions across landscapes, seasons, and plant species. Bees do more than pollinate. They respond to weather, locate diverse flowers, adapt to changing conditions, and support wild plant reproduction in unmanaged areas. Even if robots could be engineered to pollinate specific crops in controlled environments, scaling this technology to match the work of billions of insects worldwide would be enormously expensive and energy-intensive. It would also raise questions about ecological side effects, maintenance, and reliance on fragile technological systems. In most realistic scenarios, robotic pollinators might serve as niche tools for specialized agriculture, rather than true replacements for the ecological role bees play. The very consideration of robotic bees underscores the essential role real bees play. While technology can assist agriculture, it cannot easily replicate the living relationships that sustain ecosystems. Protecting bees requires action at multiple levels, from personal choices to national policy and global agricultural reform. Landscapes need more flowers, more diversity, and fewer toxic exposures. Reducing pesticide use, improving application practices, and transitioning to integrated pest management can lower risks without compromising productivity. Supporting habitat corridors, planting native flowering species, and maintaining flowering hedgerows can help bees access nutrition throughout the season. Agricultural systems can be redesigned to support pollinators instead of inadvertently starving them. When farms include diverse plantings, rotate crops thoughtfully, and preserve wild edges, bees benefit. Urban spaces can contribute as well. Gardens, balconies, parks, and roadside plantings become meaningful when they provide continuous flowering resources and avoid chemical treatments. Beekeeping can also play a role, although it is not a complete solution on its own. Honeybees are important, yet wild bees and other pollinators are equally vital. A balanced approach protects the entire community of pollinators, ensuring ecosystem stability and agricultural resilience. Public awareness is crucial because it shapes markets and policy. When consumers support pollinator-friendly farming and communities demand safer environmental standards, change becomes more likely. Recovery is possible, but it depends on treating bee declines as a systems problem rather than an isolated environmental issue. In conclusion, bees remind us that the most vital forces in nature are not always the largest or loudest. Their labor supports fruit on trees, seeds in fields, and wildflowers across landscapes. The decline of bees is not a distant ecological concern. It is a direct challenge to food security, biodiversity, and long-term stability. Protecting bees is one of the clearest ways to safeguard ourselves, as a world unable to sustain pollinators will struggle to sustain people. The most hopeful aspect of this narrative is that solutions exist. They are practical, scalable, and rooted in improved land management, safer chemistry, and respect for the ecological processes that nourish us. By choosing to protect bees, we choose a more resilient future where nature and human systems can thrive together rather than compete.